So today we're going to talk about how I went from this to this to this back to this. Stay tuned. Hey guys, before we get started, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. I just want to thank everybody who has already subscribed to the channel. You guys are awesome. I really do appreciate it because it helps a small channel like me grow, and I'm able to give value back to you guys. You guys are amazing. So today I'm going to talk to you guys about my weight loss journey, how I lost 65 pounds, right, in 6 months, right? How does that work? Right? What makes my story so special, versus other people? And I think that you guys can relate to it, and I think it's going to give you guys some value. That's why I want to give it to you. You guys like my donut mug? There's not even coffee in here. It's actually just water, so it just makes me look, fancy. Ugh. So starting out when I was a little kid, I was super skinny. I was super duper skinny, and the thing is that I was so concerned about what everybody thought of me, and I really placed a lot of my value on other people's opinions. And what wound up happening is I got bullied a lot, and that wound up sparking a sense of urgency in me. Like I needed to do something about it. So I started exercising, right? I was totally into WWE. I was totally into, Marvel Comics, and I just marveled at the physiques in power. And something that was super, consistent about a lot of these characters is they had an incredible physique. So one thing that I wanted to do was emulate that, right? And what happened was I was able to do something. I was able to take an insecurity that I had, and I was able to work towards something to fight my insecurities, and I built this shield, which was the body that I achieved, right? And at 17 years old, I had a pretty ripped physique, at least I think. Yeah, check it out. What do you think? I think at 17 that was pretty good. And listen, at that point I was on top of the world. I really just was falling in love with fitness and bodybuilding, and as a 17-year-old, I really thought I figured everything out, but I would come to learn that that's not true. So, long story short, I wound up getting into a really, really toxic relationship. And at the time, I didn't really think it was toxic. And I didn't have a chance to really grow up, right? I was only 18, 19 years old at that time. And what happened was I then again was starting to project my insecurities on this individual. And I was looking for affirmation in places where I wasn't getting it. And when I wasn't getting, this affirmation, I would start to stress out, right? I started getting a lot of anxiety, and I started to fall into a deep depression. Now, at the time, I really didn't know I was depressed, right? I really didn't know that I had anxiety in the time. I just thought that's just who I was, right? And some of the symptoms of all these habits that were happening because I was in such a toxic back and forth on both ends was I started to emotionally eat, right? And I know some of you can relate to that. Like you go through, a time in your life where you're really stressed out, and one way to, get rid of that stress is to eat something comforting like pizza or pasta. Ooh, I love pizza. Papa John's. Anyway, but yeah, so I started eating a lot, and I would start making excuses for myself. I started saying, well, I'm just a bodybuilder and I'm bulking and I'm trying to gain size, when really I was just gaining fat. I was emotionally eating, and, I let this depression and this anxiety take hold of me. So long story short, we broke up, and thank God we did, because it was just like oil and water. We really weren't working out together, and I think we both benefited, by breaking up. Awesome, no problem. And through that time, I wasn't in an environment that was sucking the energy from me. And I think a lot of people get caught up in environments, right, where they're not able to achieve the goals that they want, right? So I'm out of this environment, and then all of a sudden, I get rebaptized again, right? And I give my life back to Christ. And what wound up happening was I feel like a whole new world opened up for me. I felt like everything that I had lost, I finally had gotten back. So I had an opportunity at this point, right, with a new lease on life to start doing things differently. And this is how I lost 65 pounds in 6 months. Now, for the record, I know a lot of you guys in the comments are going to be like, 65 pounds in 6 months is too fast. I know, I didn't know any better back then. But I got the job done and I followed a few principles. And these were the principles that helped me lose 65 pounds, right? So the first things first is I consistently started working out, right? And I always was working out at the time, but here was my intention. I started adding a lot of cardiovascular, work back into my exercise. Now, why did I do that? I wanted to put myself in a caloric deficit, right? That's how we lose weight, right? And people think that weight training, right, is what burns the most calories, but that's not true. Cardiovascular training has been shown to actually burn more calories, and you need a mix of both, right? You need to build muscle and you need to burn body fat. So what I was doing was I increased my activity levels, right? So I increased my cardio to about 20 to 30 minutes a day, right? And the weight started coming off. What was the next thing that I needed to do, right? I started to see, the body fat coming off, my clothes fit better, and I look in the mirror and I saw the shape in my face and I was like, this is awesome, right? I feel good again. I don't feel like a fat lard, right? And nobody wants to feel that way. So another thing I started doing was I let myself have a cheat meal once a week. I stopped eating the excess calories throughout the week and I started to meal prep, right? Every single thing that I ate, I documented, so I knew how my body would react. I put myself on 1,600 calories, right? I know it's not a lot, but that's what worked for me. The whole basis behind that is I gave myself parameters to work with. I said, okay, I'm going to put myself with this many calories, right? And this is what I'm going to work with. And I'm going to have a protein goal of my goal weight. My goal weight at the time was 160 pounds. So I put my protein as that, right? I put my carbohydrates as that, and I put my fats to around, I believe, 30 or 40. Now, mind you, that is pretty low. You want to get 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight regardless. Anyway, back to the story. So I started doing that and my confidence went through the roof, right? I started burning body fat. I started getting into the best shape of my life. And as I followed these principles of exercising, doing my cardio, and dropping my calories a significant amount, right? I was able to get my life back. Every aspect of my life started to change, right? I met my wife, in that time period, right? I met my wife in that period. Oh man, she's amazing, right? I was able to get my music career back, right? I was able to get my bodybuilding career back, and I wound up competing and winning my division. Here's the point of my whole entire story, is that you can go through a really dark time, right? Everybody goes through a deep, dark time. You can suffer from anxiety. You can suffer from depression. My whole thing is this. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, right? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. There is a God who loves you, right? And he wants to rip you out of that if you put your trust in him, right? That's what I did. And my life got back, and I was able to follow these principles that got me into the best shape of my life. And I went from 210 pounds to 155 pounds stage weight. So I'll break it down for you like this, right? Work out consistently. Do something that you love to do. Love to do in the fitness world, right? I want you to keep track of your calories, right? And I don't want you eating it in excess. I want you to eat in moderation. I want you to have 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, right? And I want you to do your cardiovascular training, 30 to 20 minutes a day, not only to lose weight, but for your heart health and longevity, right? I want you to get 8 hours of sleep, right? And then I want you to watch your whole entire life change from start to finish. But most importantly, I want you to put your trust in Jesus, because he changed my life completely, right? And I am living the best life that I've ever lived by trusting in him. So that's my weight loss story. And my life since then, since this whole thing has happened, has completely changed. I got married. I moved to North Carolina. I started a full-time business. And listen, sometimes it starts with the change, right? Sometimes it starts with you. And maybe that start for you is a weight loss journey. So I hope this video was encouraging to you guys. If you like videos like this, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, hit that like button, right? And if you want the best free fitness content, right, sent directly to you, I want to equip you with the best fitness content on the internet. So hit that link in the bio and sign up for our newsletter. But you guys know the deal. Stay happy.